All right, guys, welcome to our presentation on how to arrange a composition that uses a basic shape as its inspiration. This sounds like, why would you ever want to do that? But it's actually very helpful. So in this demonstration, I'm demonstrating two different kinds of shape. The first one I'm going to do is the zigzag, okay? And the second one is a triangle. It's hard to see the triangle because I drew it in pencil, but it's right here. Now, when you lay out these shapes on your composition, you need to lay them out so that some of the points of interest are at your rule of thirds lines, okay? So I purposefully put this triangle so that kind of like part of it was on this center of interest for the rule of thirds, okay? And then this line was along a rule of thirds intersection as well. All right, so that's an example of how the shape and the rule of thirds line works together to create an interesting composition. So I started with the shapes on my paper, and then I created my pictures. I know that sounds strange. So you can see I actually arranged these shapes in a way that I thought would create a zigzag. Okay, the zigzag here would go, and I can show you real quick. Laser pointer. You can see it go here. Oh, actually, let's do a pen. That looks better. Here, here to here. Okay, sloppy zigzag, but you can see that this zigzag looks like this zigzag over here. Okay, so let's check out this shape. I thought that the triangle was a little bit harder to do. Sorry, I'm like having technical difficulties. Um, so when I was arranging my composition, it was harder for me to make a triangle. So in the end, I didn't like this one as much. Now you can see, right, that generally the leading lines suggest a triangle. But you might say, but Miss Gavin, um, what's up with that? Like this certainly goes out, right? This goes out. Well, you're basically making an average of the lines and you're saying, okay, this generally points my eye here, this points my eye here, and this points my eye here. Okay? So don't get too picky, but generally, all right, you want to have uh, the shape from your paper on in your composition, okay, in your photo. You don't have to take a photo, you can draw from life, but I like being able to see my composition in the photograph. So let's take a look at how I address this, all right? So I am drawing this first one. You guys only have to do one drawing. You can see it says it right up here, okay? So if you're confused, make sure you read and listen. You only complete one drawing, okay? Please only do one. I did two because I think this is a particularly confusing thing. And I wanted to make sure that you understood how to do it with different shapes. So I did an example with a zigzag as well as an example with a triangle. So when I laid this photo out, my composition, I tried to make sure that my one point of interest was over here at very close to the point of intersection, okay, at the rule of thirds line, all right? It's very, very important. Additionally, I have another kind of point of interest right there. Now, when I placed my image on my paper over here, it's hard for you guys to see, I think, my rule of thirds lines. I did draw them on my paper to help myself, but they're going to be about here. So I did try to align things along the rule of thirds. So like this is a point of interest at the intersection, right? And some of you guys are going to very intelligently ask me, Ms. Gavin, do you need to see the rule of thirds lines? So here's the thing, guys. I don't want you to erase them. Okay, I would like to see them. I also recommend, you see how I went over this in highlighter right here? This yellow, okay? You can see it on the car. I recommend that you do the same thing so that you can really see um, the shape that you are going for and um, the rule of thirds lines. That's all you get to see. Oh, well, let me show you the, I'll put up the final one on the underneath of this video. All right, so I figured out how to get the picture on here. So you guys can see I did take some time. I added watercolor. You guys are responsible for adding some sort of shading. I suggest you entertain yourself, right? Try a new medium. Um, and you can still see my zigzag on here as well as my rule of thirds lines. So when you turn it in, it will look like a nice drawing, but also have the planning visible. Okay? Good luck.